Hey, Flawless family. Today we have the pleasure of sitting down with a real life rock star, Justin Furstenfeld. Justin is the lead vocalist of the Texas based alt rock band Blue October, and through the years, they've earned a reputation for being remarkably dynamic, consistently delivering anthemic songs with rousing melodies and precision playing. Last week, Justin premiered his film Get Back Up, a story about his struggle with depression, mental health, and addiction. It's a powerful and inspirational redemption story with a positive message that is inspiring millions around the world to get back up. Justin, thank you so much for being here today and welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. You're very kind.
So, first off, the film is amazing, and obviously, it was years in the making. Can you talk a bit about where the idea to make this film came from and how it all came together?
When I was in rehab, I was like right out of detox, and I'm 8 years clean now, right? So, uh, right out of detox, 2 weeks into it, I sat there and I thought, wow, the only way I'm ever going to be able to inspire or to be inspired is to fully get clean. And all of my heroes had all died from addiction or mental illness. And all the documentaries that are being made were always sad, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, Scott Weiland, Shannon Hoon of Blind Melon. The list can go on and on and on. Chester from Lincoln Park, a friend of mine, and I was sitting there going, you know what, Justin, you're 36 years old. You're going to have to man up now and be a good father and a good husband. And if you're going to really do it, why don't you put cameras on you for the first year so we can ensure that you're not going to mess up? Because I know if cameras are on me, I won't mess up because I don't want to go down like that. So for the first year, I just recorded everything, and then it went on for another year and another year, and life just kept getting better and better and more amazing. And then it went on for 7 years, and we got to see two of my kids be born. Three kids in the whole can't be born. Our relationship as marriage bond closer. Band members and family members be able to talk and communicate about depression and things people are going through, and instead of covering it up with drugs, I actually look at it in a therapy proactive way. And now we're just this solution based team that is just so blessed and grateful every day to be with each other. But I would not be able to make this documentary if it wasn't for all the people in my corner.
And that was something that I noticed in watching the documentary. Like you said, most documentaries about this subject, about addiction or mental illness, it's always they can't get somebody declined to participate. You had a pretty full team in your corner throughout the whole process. What was that like? Kind of doing all of that on camera.
For me, it was easy because I just had to stay sober and be myself. And I was just being born. I've been using for 36 years, right? Since I was 14. So I never knew what life was like. I always complained about my depression. Oh, you have such mental illness, but you can't really look at your mental illness until you're clean. You can't take a good proactive look at how to help yourself until you clear out the fog. It wasn't hard for me. It was just like being born again, and it was all on camera. I think the only thing I said when I got out of rehab for the first year on camera was like fart jokes and stupid stuff, like I was 14 again. Because they say when you go back to getting clean, you go back to the age that you were when you started. And it's so true. That's so true. If I could tell any kids out there, don't do drugs because it'll hold you back in life while all your friends go forward. And it will help the depression get worse, actually. So it wasn't hard for me to have those cameras. It was actually pleasant because I felt like I every day had a meaning, and every day had a goal to reach. But what was hard was seeing because I wasn't allowed to see the documentary till it was done after 7 years. I wasn't allowed to see who was in it, wasn't allowed to see who they were interviewing, what they said. So I watched it, and it was so hard. It must have been so hard for those guys and my wife and my mom and my dad to go through all that again over and over and over again for 7 years, just to see where the relationship started and where they ended up after 7 years. It was crazy. So if there was supposed to give some award for like best, I don't know, actor in a documentary, you know, I'd give it to my brother, you know, my brother and my wife and Matt Noveski and everybody that was a part of it, that I put them through so much hell that they would support me, because I wouldn't have. If I'm that kind of person that if you hurt me, I cut you off and I move on. That's it. I don't need negativity in my life. That's how I am. But I don't know if I would have been strong enough to stand by me, because I was not a nice person.
So, part of the mission of the Flawless Foundation is to normalize discussions around brain health and end discrimination against brain health differences. In your music, you know, before you went to rehab, your music was very confessional. And of course, you know, getting sober, you've been very open and confessional. Where do you think that this honesty stems from? And what's the ultimate impact that you're hoping to make by continuing to tell your story?
Um, Impact, I don't really think about that. I just do it so I can stay here on this earth, you know, like so I can enjoy this earth. And I think that my point to be here is to be as blunt and honest as I possibly can, and to make good art and good music. And I'm a hopeless romantic, you know, like seriously, it annoys my wife how much of a hopeless romantic I am, but that's what life's all about, you know. So if I made some sort of impact, it would be to shine lights in people's life that they didn't know were there, to recognize miracles that most would just pass up, um, be grateful for every moment, and to make sure the ones I love are being loved correctly, and to be loyal. Ah, Geez, that would be the one. And what was the second part of the question again?
Just kind of where the honesty comes from. You've been very honest artistically, you know, on your platform for decades.
I've always been that way. It's weird. I grew up on bands like the Smiths and the Cure and Peter Gabriel, people that were very beautiful with their lyrics and took time with their lyrics. But this whole like serial confessor thing that I've been doing since I was like a kid, it's really weird. I've been doing it since I was a child. Like nothing really phases me. Like if I did something, I'll tell you. You know, it's. I don't see a point in bullshitting. I don't. I don't see a point in small talk. If I meet you, I want to know what's in your head. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know what you love. I want to show you what I love. So maybe they coexist and we can love together, you know, and time is precious. And I've always been that way. And if I see that you're in pain, I'll share something from my story so you won't feel alone. I've always been that way. So when it comes to writing lyrics, I've only spent the last 8 years of my life writing about beauty and passion and intimacy and and love and lust and the most amazing things in life, you know, like the taste of life. Before that, it was, oh, poor Justin, he has depression, how hard it is for him. Now I'm solution based, and it's like, oh, poor Justin, what the hell? No, you got clean. You take your Paxil every day. You go jogging 3 miles a day. You're on your game. You only surround yourself with positive people. That's a huge one. I no longer let negative people into my life. And I don't care if that hurts their feelings. I will, if you're spiritually sick, I'll pray for you and move on, because I'm such a fragile little brain. I know that your vibe is going to get in there as quick as hell, and I'm not going to let it happen anymore. So I don't know if I just answered your question.
Yeah,
I've
no,
always been that way. I've always been that way. I've always just been blunt. And I've always listened to other songs, and I'm like, why are these people being so vague? Why are their lyrics so vague? Why don't they write about what it felt like to kiss her, or what she tasted like, instead of just what it was? You know, it's just boring. You know, I've always been like that. It's weird.
that's great. I mean, clearly, the things you've been able to communicate are things that people need to hear.
Yeah.
It's everybody talks about, you know, the what you write, your music, your lyrics. It's like, you know, you wrote it speaking to their soul. Like nobody ever put into words before what I was saying until I heard this song. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure
That's
you get that a lot.
I do, but you know, it's weird. Somebody asked me the other day, like, how do you feel knowing that you're helping so many people? And I was like, I'm not even going there. Like, I'm not even going there, because I'm still the guy that wakes up in the morning, looks in the mirror, and sees what he wants changed. Still that insecure dude that looks down and goes, oh God, if only I was this, or oh, I don't like what I look like. I'm still insecure, Depression still messes with me. So I just don't even want that kind of power. I just want to be right where y'all are. And I want to be done. That's the reason I do it, because I don't feel alone. You guys connect with me. So now we're like a family of out there people. So don't tell me I'm helping people, because you're helping me. And let's just shut up and keep on going. I'll keep making music. You keep listening. Let's do it. I don't want that kind of power. I don't want that kind of like, nah, no way. No, it's too much pressure.
That's actually a really good segue into our 5 mental health month questions.
Oh, cool. I'm excited.
So for the month of May, May is Mental Health Month, and we've been asking our 5 flawless questions in COVID-19 edition. And
The
so,
COVID-19 edition.
special edition, hopefully
You're
yeah.
going to box it up all pretty.
Just 1 year, please, only one.
Just 1 year.
So, we've been talking with mental health advocates, with experts, and kind of getting their perspective, spin, advice, kind of look into their lives during a global pandemic right now. So,
Right.
beyond the challenges and the ups and the downs of everyday life, what has been the most challenging aspect of the COVID crisis for you? But also, what has been a gift or a silver lining?
The most challenging for me would have to be trying to figure out a way to make not me a living, because I can figure out a way to make a living. I'm an artist, so I'll conform. The other guys, the crew, the band, they're out of work. We're out of work for, I'm just saying, right now is the time for everybody needs to step out of the box and do what they can. But I feel bad for people like my crew and my band who can't just, it's hard. And so I want to do things for them. And so I play stage at shows, and it's hard not being able to reach out and make sure everybody's okay, because I'm always a healer. I'm always the guy that's, people say, like, what is it, an empath or whatever it is, where you just feel other people's stuff and you just want to help them all the time. That's been hard. And I would have to say everything worried about my dad, because he has cancer. And if he were to get COVID, it would be fatal, definitely. So he's out in the middle of the bay somewhere with my mom, out in some cabin they built, and they're fine. Like, I call my dad, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm fishing. I'm great." I'm like, "You damn it." Did I answer your question?
Is there a silver lining, a gift, a good thing?
Yeah. I was going to say a SHIT load of good things, but there is an amazing amount of good things. That's why it took me a second to find out what was the bad parts, because this whole experience for me has been a blessing. I had just gotten custody of my oldest daughter, and she moved down to Texas with my wife and I. And I thought I was going to have to go back on tour, and she was going to have to basically be with her stepmom, my wife, and learn middle school down here all by herself, all of us on tour, right? So the blessing there is my daughter went to her first year of school, and daddy was home the whole time. So I was there to help her get through that, help her meet friends, help her kick out the wrong friends, help her get acquainted to the new friends, and that was a blessing. Another blessing is the spirituality aspects of my recovery. I got so into recovery this whole time. I've been doing recovery shows every Tuesday night, working the steps with people that can't get to meetings and things like that. And that is truly, like, my sponsor texts me every night, and he's like, "Dang, I wish you were this proactive when I was telling you to do your steps." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm doing them on the internet." Getting a lot done writing. It's probably one of the most creative, amazing times. I started jogging, started really, really just looking at my marriage, and realizing that, man, probably one of the reasons it works out so well is that I'm gone half of the year. But then we're learning more about each other. Like, I remember the other night we got in an argument, and I go, "Is this where I'm supposed to give you space?" Like, because I'm only 8 years sober. So that's 8 years old. Like, I never had a healthy relationship before her, ever. It's always been about drugs, alcohol, and mental health. So now I'm learning that, wow, This is what she needs. Okay. You don't always have to fix everything. So it's actually been really cool. It's been really cool. And it's a blessing that, that I'm able to reach out to people and show them the things that I was so freely given to, lift my life up and stay sober and positive and clean and healthy.
That's
Plus,
wonderful.
I got to watch a lot of TV shows at night.
You had to catch up on all the shows you had in your Netflix queue, and yeah.
I know. I was like, is this what TV's like? Is this what y'all do? Like, what is this? Oh, I was like, God. From like 9 o'clock at night till like 1, I'm just going, wow. They have all the forensic files. Great.
So the next question you've already answered in bits and pieces. How has your mental health care routine changed or hasn't changed?
It has changed. It's funny that you asked that because I just asked my doctor last week, hey, do you think we can raise my dose of Paxil? For the first time in my whole life, I've always been on 0.25, so I can still cry if I need to and still, like, because I'm an artist, I'm a sensitive dude. I like to feel stuff. And so, so I asked him what can we up the dosage? Because I was just getting a little sad. I know I live with depression. That's what the whole new album that we're putting out is called. This is what I live for. It's about welcoming the depression. We're always talking about how can we get rid of it? You'll never get rid of it. It's a part of your life. It's like your brother. So just invite him to the dinner table and get to know that depression. And once you get to know it, recognize when it's there and recognize when it's not. But yeah, I just upped my dosage for the first time in my whole life. And I've only been 3 days on it and I feel good. Yawning a little bit, but I hate being tired. So I just make lots of coffee.
One of the things that we consistently heard at the beginning and a million think pieces are written about is, the reason that everybody's having trouble is because nobody's in a routine. Everybody's out of their routine. So then everybody started trying to figure out how to make their routine. Do you have a routine, like a morning routine or an afternoon, like something that you do every day consistently to kind of keep you level?
Oh yeah, I have to go jogging. It's weird. I have to go jogging. I hate jogging, but I have to do it, even if it's just for a mile. I jog a mile and then I walk a mile, just to sweat and just get my day started. If I don't, I'll just be. And I take my medication at 8 a.m. every morning, and that's about it. And then I just I just work all day on new songs or take my kids to their homeschooling, but I always have to go jogging or walking. I have to. If I don't, my day's screwed. It's weird. It's it's so weird.
Yeah, no, I'm also a morning exercise person. And it's like in what you sleep in one day and you're like, no, it's not that big of a deal. And the rest of the day is like, it's ruined, it's shot.
It's ruined. It's like, okay, I am lazy. I just want to go lay in bed and poor me. And it could be like, there's no way in hell I'm going running. And then if you just make yourself go do it, it's like 2 minutes in, you're like, yeah, okay. It's so crazy. And I'm in such a better mood,
At Flawless, we believe in looking for the light and the goodness, or what we call the perfection in every person. What does seeing the perfection in every person mean to you?
Just looking past the shell, I mean, that's why I'm alive today, is because people looked past my shell and looked deeper into my heart and realized that there was something there that needed to be taken care of. And but there's only so long you can sit there and nurture someone. They have to want it, and they have to truly be ready to work for it. And that includes mental illness. That includes the way you treat your body. I always say eating clean, sleeping clean, don't put any toxins in your body. If you're seriously wanting to change your mental health, don't add stuff. I know pot may be illegal in some cities, but that doesn't mean it's a good idea to smoke if you freaking have depression or mental illness. It's the worst thing you can do. It's so bad. Some people say it calms me down. It's like, well, then have you left your house in the last week? No. Oh, It sure does calm you down. Yeah, I just don't get that. Why people still go, I've got depression. What do I do? And I'm like, well, do you smoke weed? Oh yeah, every day. I'm like, well, you can't really tackle depression or mental illness until you clear that fog. It's like cleaning a house of a hoarder. You go in, you want to organize the house, but you don't even know where to start because you can't even look at it to where the damn books go, because the books are way under the mattress and the mattress is on top of the toilet and the toilet's, you smell what I'm stepping in.
So the final question goes hand in hand with my last one about how we see the light, the goodness, the perfection in every person. If you could change something about the world, make it a more flawless place, what would that flawless world look like to you?
Jeez. God, that's crazy. If I could change something about the world. I would have to say the work ethic. I would have to say the apathy for self-help. The hoping the hoping that everything will just turn out okay, and not getting in and putting the work into it. It takes a lot of work. It's taken me 8 years of being clean just to realize that, oh, okay, I do have depression, and wow, I really need to work out. That's it. Wow. And I need to take my meds and drink water. What? Drink water? It's crazy. It's crazy. But that's it. Yeah.
Justin, thank you so much for being with us today. Your film, it's called Get Back Up. You have a website.
Getbackup.tv, and you can rent the movie. You can watch it. It'll be great. It'll change your life. It's awesome.
Cool. And we can find your band through social media channels. We'll have those linked below. But is there any other way that you want people to get in touch and stay involved?
That's it. Just tell people out there that there is a solution, and they no longer have to drink or do drugs or feel alone anymore. There is a solution.